Hi, so I just wanted to give you a basic and general background to the bioresonance attunement that I do. So basically what it consists of a lot of things, and I'm going to try and keep it very, very simple so that you can get the basic understanding of energy medicine and energy work, and also being able to do it from a distance. So with this bioresonance, I basically look at your body as an instrument, and we are an instrument of sound, frequency, and of light. And there's a lot that actually goes on within our bodies, and there's many methods that we can use to assist our evolution and to connect us better with our higher self and our actual physical self, because we aren't just beings of matter. There's a lot more to us, and I think we're starting to realize that we are pretty awesome beings and that we can hold such true and beautiful potential and light and mastery. So basically I'm going to just put into simple categories. I will be working with your Auric system. I'll be working with your chakra systems. I'll be working with your assemblage point, and I'll also work with tuning forks. So tuning forks, you probably might know what they are. Yeah. Tuning forks are instruments that look like this, and they create sound. They're specially designed, each one, to create a certain resonance hertz sound. And there's many types of tuning forks. I have an octave here. It's the Pythagoras octave, but you will get the Fabiani sequence, the Solfeggio. There's many and beautiful ones. Chakra ones, there's a whole lot. But these are my babies, and they're the ones I'm working with at the moment. So I'm not quite sure if you'll hear it too well on this recording, but we will give it a go. And you have an overtone and an undertone, and once that has been struck on your puck, that sound goes into the universe, into your field, into the entire field of the universe. So that is this is my instrument that I use to work on your auric field with your chakra field, and I also use it with your assemblage point. So those are tuning forks. Now, just to help you with your auric field, basically this is physical. This is your physical form is a realm, and it's wrapped in tissue, and that's why you can see it. But you actually have other fields that emanate from you, and they actually existed first, and through the existence of each layer, you were actually brought into matter. But we, from our human perspective, we initially start to understand it, that we are physical, because we can physically see and feel ourselves. So with the auric field, you have auric bodies. They're called the subtle bodies, and there are many of them, and I would encourage you to go and look on the web and find out and see the picture and look at that. There's many. They all very much say the same thing. You might just get some that are more evolved with more information on. But the basics is that you have these 7 subtle bodies, and you look like an actual egg. And in the middle is your physical body. And each subtle layer is approximately 10 centimeters in width. And each of those bodies is actually connected to a chakra. Now, a chakra is an energy wheel within your body. You'll find a lot of people talk about 7 chakras. There's 12, there's 32, there's 144. There are more than that. There are many chakras, but to keep it simple, we're going to work with the 7, they call them the 7 major chakras. And you have a base chakra, which is basically by your perineum. You have your sacral chakra, which is above that in your hip area. You have your solar plexus chakra, which is your powerhouse. You have your heart chakra. You have your throat chakra. You have your brow chakra. And you have your crown. So those are your 7. I work with those 7 as well as additional ones. And I incorporate your earth star chakra and your soul star chakra. Your soul star chakra is your higher self. It can be your intuition. It can be your Christ-like consciousness. It can be your Holy Spirit. Whichever one that resonates with you. But it is that information that you get from a higher source or an inner knowing. And it often is the one that resonates with your truth. Okay, so we work with, I work with those chakras. I actually work with 32 chakras, but those are on different levels, and we won't go into that now. But basically, each of those 7 that I mentioned to you form an additional subtle body. So when you talk about somebody coming into your field or standing in your space, that's your energetic body, your subtle bodies that are feeling that person's subtle bodies, and they're not actually mixing well. They're quite abrasive, and that's often when you can feel it. You can also feel your one of your subtle bodies, your etheric bodies, when you get a fright or you're about to have a or you have a near-miss car accident and you jump out your skin and you get that hot cold sweat and you're like, I was just outside my body. And that is your etheric body. It is attached to the skin, and you almost just implode out into that body like that. Okay, so that is the sensation of a body, and you get to, as you do more and more work and you understand, you get to feel them and you get to understand which each one is. So that's the chakras. Your assemblage point is actually a beautiful point in your body, and it does sit differently on males and females. But it's ideally here by the thymus gland. And what it is, it's where your central, it's almost like it's your belly button on the energetic field. So it connects in to your heart chakra area, and it is a field, like a magnetic field. I don't know if you've seen the torus field. It's a magnetic field that actually comes from above, flows into your system and flows out and connected to the soul star and earth star. And it can be misplaced in the body. And wherever it's in alignment with in your body, wherever it's been displaced to, you will actually essentially operate from those chakras point of view. So you'll operate from their higher side, and you will, or light side, and you will also operate from their shadow side. So if it is sitting in your solar plexus, you could be very egotistical, domineering, having those kind of viewpoints. If it's in your sacral chakra, you might be all about boundaries and things like that. If it's all from the brow chakra or off the body, you might be seeing things from a very enlightened point of view, but it's not really grounded and it's not working. When we bring our assemblage point back to our heart chakra and place it at our seat of consciousness, because that is the physical point at where it sits at. It's our seat of consciousness. We then will operate from a heart-centered consciousness. And then you're in a much better space of seeing things with love, receiving things with love, allowing things with love. And the way we are, and a lot of us are, there's all these, we've got a lot of anger and a lot of bitterness and a lot of hurt. And the only way forward really on managing that within our system is to manage it and to see it and view it and hold it from a heart-centered consciousness. It allows forgiveness. So I will work with realigning that and putting that back into position. It can shift. Often another little trigger will shift it, or if you keep on, because it's so ingrained in a particular way, you've got to just remind yourself that you're going to do something out of love. And I have a little technique that you can do every night to actually just bring it back to its seat of consciousness so that you can operate from your new place. It is your original place, and so we just bring it back there so we can operate. So that's the assemblage point, and as I mentioned before, I use the tuning forks. So how do the tuning forks fit with all of this? Basically, you're an egg, and you have all these subtle bodies, and you have all these chakras, and they all communicate with resonance, frequency, sound, vibration, and tuning forks are everything like that. So it is very simple to scan somebody's body. I walk around the body and I scan the entire field of the body, and with the tuning forks I can actually hear a dissonance, and when I hear that dissonance I realize that there is a storyline, there is a collective injury or trauma that has happened in this person's field, and they are still holding it, they're still retaining it, and it is still feeding back into the system. It's their storyline, it's their narrative. And often that narrative keeps on coming up because we haven't really processed or healed from the experience. So what I do with the tuning fork is I will gather it up and I will place it back into the system, and I'll allow it to transmute and to work its way through the body again, to harmonize and calibrate, so that you can take the pieces of gold from that experience and use it throughout your body. And often when it just gets shifted, things lift. So after a session like this, you can feel many things, but lightness is one of the amazing feelings that people feel. They feel like they are much lighter, that there is space between everything going on within them, and they don't feel as heavy. They feel happy. If they suffer from anxiety and things like that, the tuning forks are just amazing for just lifting that presence within them. And it can also enhance sleeping and things like that, because everything just gets settled in the body. Now, it's not a once-off thing. You might need to do it a few times for different issues, but having one session and experiencing one session gives you an idea of what can actually transpire within the body. So you might come for a session because you suffer anxiety, but maybe the anxiety shifts a little bit, but your sore knees that you had, that you could never run with, now you can run up and down a hill and not even suffer the consequences afterwards, because it has healed something. There was a trauma, there was an experience around the knees, and the tuning forks have picked it up and have dislodged it and allowed you to push it through your system again. So that is a lot of what this combination does, but we can go deeper and deeper. But I don't get stuck on people's narrative and their storylines and their experiences. Those are your experiences. They came into your life because you had something to do. You engaged in something and you allowed for that experience to come up. And now we want you to move through it. And you don't need to forget about it, but we want it to become less of a dissonance or less of an injury or less of a trauma that may be holding you back from something that you really want to do. You are stumbling over some small issue in life, and it might be something that happened in the past. It's a belief system, or it's how somebody viewed you so many years ago and made you believe that about yourself. And this vibrational technique can really, really free you from episodes like that and help you move forward on your true path of purpose. Because we didn't come here to be Annie that works in accounting. We didn't. We came here to be amazing beings of light, to hold up a huge, huge concept of love and forgiveness and light, and creating a real change in the universe. And we don't see a lot of us doing that if we look at the trauma and the sadness that we see filtering through Facebook and the news. But we actually have the potential, and there are a lot of us that are working with this potential and for this potential and being beings of light. So essentially, by freeing us up and making us lighter and shifting through our experiences that were obviously quite necessary in our lives, we want to not let them hold us back, but we want to be lighter and we want to be love. So that's basically what I'll be working on when I'm working on you, and I hope this has given you a better idea of what this work is. And if you would like to ask any additional questions, yeah, please pop me a message and I'd be glad to help you with it. Okay, see you soon. Bye.